Alrighty, and here we are for game 3, or match 3, I mean. Obviously, this is the most expensive hand probably that we could come up with. However, seeing as how we keep drawing, 12, 13 lands anyways, we're going to just keep it and go from there. I mean, this can be turn 4, turn 5, or turn 5, 6, 7, 8, you know. I really like the Endless One's capabilities to just do pretty much whatever you need. It's pretty awesome. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. Start us off there. Earthen Arms. Something we'll probably hold off on. Maybe we'll put it on Mist Intruder actually. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. I mean, a 3/4 flyer's nothing to sniff at. My black white probably is gonna be allies. Would be my guess, but black white has a lot of removal too. You could just do black white control. So we'll see what our opponent has for us. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do Earthen Arms onto the Mist Intruder, and then probably go 5, 6, 7, 8. As long as the land draws continue to happen as per usual. The Baloth hopefully will hold down the ground, and I can keep getting it in the air. It's a little bit slow, but this format is obviously meant to be a little bit slower. I'm supposed to cast huge creatures and have the allies fighting the Eldrazi and all those other things. So I did go 4 and 3 in Madison, and dropped unfortunately. I did make a little bit of a blunder in my last match to lose, but it was something where I had the choice of either playing the Woodland Wanderer or playing a Eldrazi Sky Spawner, and then using Bone Splinters to kill one of my opponent's creatures. And I chose the Wanderer as a 5/5, but obviously that was the wrong choice. So, yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and do this, I think. Earthen Arms on the Mist Intruder. Next turn we'll do the Call of the Scions. Oops. I'll put it on there. Yeah, the board state was my opponent had like 5 or 6 creatures out, and he ended up I was at 14 life, but he had Swarm Surge, ended up killing me dead actually the next turn, and I had him dead on the backswing because I had hit him down to 5, and I would have had 5 power in the air. It's a pretty good 2-for-1 for my opponent. So it was it was tough, but it was a lot of fun. Obviously, definitely enjoyed the time playing in Madison. So couldn't really complain. Had a lot of fun. Like I said, did well. Wish I could have done better, but next time. And I'll continue to do drafts. Like I said, probably gonna try to do one a week. This is the pre-release, so it's a little bit more expensive than other ones. So I probably won't do any other pre-release drafts, unfortunately. But if my opponent's pausing on attacking, means he doesn't have a combat trick. So maybe I'll block, double block. See. So now we can. So we have a few different options. We could actually endless one for 7. I'd have a big old 7/7. Or we could just play the Baloth and kind of wait around another turn. Kind of like the idea of a 7/7 though. My opponent's on 4 mana. Didn't play a spell. But then I lose my ability to get to the Devastator. Let's go a little bit safer, I guess. If we draw land next turn, we can actually power out the Devastator and attack with a 6/6. So this is probably the safer play. Rather than just upping and getting rid of the Scions right away. That is something with like Clutch Occurrence and other things that either bounce or return stuff to the top of the library. If your opponent sacrifices their Scions to power like a huge Eldrazi, like 8, 9, 10 mana or whatever, but they have to sacrifice 4 or 5 Scions to do so, it's very interesting because then they can't recast their Scion. Or their Eldrazi, because they've used up all their Scion resources. So it's something that you want to be very careful. Just go ahead and losing the Scions for essentially no value. It's something you just want to be careful of. It's like here, I might actually just play the Manta and the Blister Pod. Just kind of keeping my resources, building a board. My opponent was going to have that Demon's Grasp, the whole time. And I have a good chump blocker for the drone, the Dominator drone, and I got some 3 power in the air. Like I said, flying is at a premium in this format. Air superiority is very, very good because the ground can get cluttered pretty quickly. Okay, so it looks like it might be the rally deck that I was expecting, but good. We'll get another mana guy. Gonna go ahead and serve in here with the Manta. I don't understand the fish that flies, but sure, it happens. I mean, there's flying fish, but they don't really fly. They kind of glide, but I don't really think that looks like a fish either. But so yeah, so we're gonna attack with the 3/2. We'll play the 2/3. Actually, no, I won't attack with the Buster Pod. I'll still use it back as a blocker. So we'll play the Incubator Drone, power out the Devastator next turn, and the turn after that we'll do the Endless one. So I'm just gonna serve in here. The Incubator Drone is a very good blocker. 2/3 body is pretty good. And then the fact that it drops down another 1/1 trigger on that is going to be pretty awesome. So we got 2 good blockers. Yep, definitely going to have to be worried about those guys. Because that's going to drain us pretty fast. So definitely got to get this Devastator down and hit as hard as we can. And then try to follow up with the Endless one and hopefully get in there with damage. The 8 power trample should be pretty good. But we got to be careful because just playing an ally is going to ping us for 2 every turn, and he's going to gain 2, so that it's going to add up pretty quickly. And it's going to keep his life total pretty high as well. So. Alrighty, so let's power out the Devastator after we attack with Manta. And we'll still have 2 good just regular chump blockers as well, and we can just hopefully get in with a Devastator. definitely a big fan of the idea that trample is going to be very, very powerful. Serve in here. Grasp of Darkness would be really, really bad for us, of course, but hopefully it doesn't have it. No, I'm just gonna play a 5/5 and then search for something else. That's gonna be huge, probably. And he's gonna have. Didn't reveal anything, so that's just a 5/5. So I'm actually pretty happy about that because we can serve in with the 8/9 and the 3/2, and then actually lay down our own 5/5 as a blocker as well. So, I mean, if he like triple block, quadruple blocks, or whatever, that's fine. I'm totally okay with that. Would probably make sure we kill off one of the allies and then the 5/5. So we probably, I suppose we could have played the pathway arrows, equipped, tapped down, attacked, but I'm okay clearing more of his board actually. Or just getting him for a ton of damage. Yep, and we'll play our 5/5. So he's dead in the air right now. Yep, there we go. So getting that big body down was definitely very useful. He had some colorless guys. Definitely had the big 5/5. I didn't see any flyers. White does have a lot of flyers though, but maybe I'd rather play the giant mantis. Or maybe let's say the fight card. Let's try this. So Carip 76, I'm assuming, is going to play first. Although we're still waiting to see what his decision is on that. I mean, being a slower format, I guess, does warrant some conversation about playing first or playing second. I've said for a while that I wish Wizards would fashion a format either in standard or in limited format where playing second was actually either more valuable than playing first, or at least even with playing first. Almost every format except for the conversation of the mono red matchup in last standard, or in some other formats as well. Every format right now, for the most part, except for a few specific matchups, everybody just always wants to play first all the time. And I would like to see something where, we're definitely going to keep. I would definitely like to see something where that's not the case, where playing second is a premium, but or the extra draw, I guess. The value out of getting an extra draw is at a premium. but you may have to wait a while for that to happen. It would just be neat to see them to see if they could fashion a format where that becomes something that's important. But this hand is a little bit slow, or well, a little bit doesn't do anything. I guess it's not that it's slow. We could attempt to power out a 6/6 for 7 mana, because we have 6 mana right now. I think we'll lead off with the pathway arrows. I know our opponent didn't really see it, and it's gonna, give it away on turn 1, but I think that's okay. It's better to have it out and available than to have to worry about casting it later. Could definitely be good on a Scion. The Baloth is a big body, definitely with the landfall, be able to make it a 6/6. It doesn't have trample. Obviously I've talked about trample enough so far in this, but I guess in my opinion, it really can't be said enough how powerful the ability. In limited, having creatures with those extra abilities makes a big difference. I think vigilance is underpowered or underappreciated in limited, because with your limited resources, you get an attacker and a blocker. I think that's super important. I mean, those sorts of things I think are things to think about. I wonder if this guy got the shambling vents. I need to get more used to just going and selling cards. If anybody has any suggestions on just how to go about that on Magic the Gathering Online, let me know in comments. Also, let me know how terrible or possibly good you think I might be doing with these drafts. Hopefully I'll learn as I go down the road, but I do want feedback if there's anybody who has any suggestions for whether it's the drafting or the gameplay or the commentary, any of those aspects of this. I'm looking for some sort of direction as far as what people like, what they don't like, that kind of thing. Ooh, well, at least it's just a 3/2. At least it didn't kill off a whole bunch of my guys, or at least one of my guys. Let's go ahead and drop call the Scions here. I'm not sure if I'm going to double block or not. This thing's kind of expensive to... I mean, I could eventually at one point kill... But it's 6 mana. 6 mana and 2 dudes to kill off 2 toughness creature. I wonder if this guy got this first pick. Which is why I went black. This card seems really good. I mean, it requires a creature of your opponent's to really get super value out of it, and you have to have a card in exile, but it's as close to a Flame Tongue Kavu ability, I guess, since Skin Render. Skin Render had a very similar effect, but was 1 more black mana. It was a 3/3. It didn't have the conditional effect that you have to have something from exile to put into a graveyard, but it was a 3/3 and then put 3 -1/1 counters on something. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, 3 -1/1 counters is, probably better than just -3/3, but -3/3 is better than just doing 3 damage to something. So, 3 damage to a creature, obviously 3 damage to a player is sometimes better, but but I definitely think that has some merit. I would like to see this card see standard, actually. I don't know that it will. It requires something early to have, and something in exile for it to be probably pretty valuable, but he does have flyers. And we have a flying blocker. So this format, I was, after losing to the 2 Grasp of Darknesses last round, I was thinking, you know, is it, because he also had the instant speed, exile target creature power 3 or less. It made me wonder that maybe this format is even more about just taking removal until you're, you know, just full up, and maybe even playing more than the standard like 8 spells and 15 creatures. Maybe you fill up with 9, 10, 11 removal spells if you can, you know. I don't know what's correct, and I won't know probably maybe ever, but it is something for conversation. It's definitely something to consider. So yeah, their 5th mana from our opponent. We were up to our 6th mana here. Another flyer, but I got the blocker for that too. So still holding off our opponent. Let's play the Baloth. Maybe we can eventually start to serve in with that guy. Play a land next turn. Maybe even put 2+1/+1 counters on it. I'm not so sure about that, but I'd like to cast this with Awaken, so I can put 2 counters maybe on the Mantis, and then make a 4/4. But we'll see. Maybe even a 6/6 land. And I could definitely power that out next turn with the Scions, and even attack with the land as a 6/6. So maybe we'll. So if I do land, trigger, sack, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 6th land will be a 6/6, and I'll have a Baloth as a 6/6. Attack for 12. I mean, that seems like a plan. Opponent will definitely have to, you know, it's a lot of power coming in. Definitely have to consider what to do against that. That's a good start for our opponent. Maybe just not power out the 6. Alright, so we're definitely going to have to make that Mantis bigger, I think, so we can. So make this a 4/4, make this a 4/6, and let's do that, I think. I mean, those Eldrazi sign, that's the ramp spell to ramp stuff out to have, you know, good blockers, and maybe at some point I can, I don't know, get in with something else, but I mean, I could have, I suppose, played the Mist Intruder, and then Earthen Arms the Intruder as a 3/4, but I mean, this is going to be a pretty big body, and so is this guy. And I don't think I want to. I may serve in with the 4/4. I mean, at some point we gotta start attacking, I suppose. But you know, I can double block. I suppose I'd kill off the Sentinel though. So, waiting on our opponent. He's taking his time. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna attack with the 4/4. I mean, I don't like sitting around forever. And if he does, you know, attack in, we can kill off one of his creatures. If he has a removal spell, that probably wasn't very good, but he would kill this and attack with 5 anyways, so now it's an extra 8, or extra 3, but... Well, he's gonna get a bunch of cards. To replace his creatures, he's gonna sacrifice. Probably end up having to play the Mist Intruder. He's got so many flyers. Probably gonna play the Mist Intruder just to get another flyer in the air. As a blocker. Is it whenever you sacrifice a creature? So this works amazingly well actually with Scion tokens, because it doesn't say sacrifice a creature to this ability. It just said whenever you sacrifice a creature. So sacrificing a Scion still counts as a sacrifice. So this card with any sort of Scion tokens is quite powerful, because you get the ability no matter what. I mean, yes, then you have to then sacrifice other things instead of just sacrificing a Scion token, but you can still get the mana value out of it and draw a card, which is pretty awesome. So, a very powerful card. Let's go ahead and play the Mist Intruder. I don't know. I don't know if I want to serve in with the 4/4. I suppose. I mean, we're gonna equip the Mist Intruder with the arrows anyways. So I'd assume he's gonna sacrifice this guy. So we'll tap down at the beginning of combat. We'll tap down this guy, and kind of go from there. I don't know what our opponent's digging towards. Undead Greathorn is a good one. Apparently I can't tap it down, but I thought that I was going to be able to do that. Oh, it has Summon Sickness, that's why. I forgot. I was being a dummy. So, if we had one more mana and a bunch of little guys, we could actually kill off that Smothering Abomination, but we do not. So, still gonna go ahead and serve in, I think, with the land. I think even without value, this guy is a blocker for the Great Horn. It's going to be worthwhile, so we're going to go ahead and do that guy. Oh. Well, we won the match. So, there we have it. We got a win. Gonna kind of think that that was an okay thing. So got a win with the first one, first draft that we did, and hopefully we will see much more. Like I said, any comments or anything that people have for me, go ahead and leave in the comments section that we'll go ahead and have on here. And with that being said, everybody have a good time and play Magic, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.